Hello and welcome to episode number 20 of High End Rollers TV. You know who I am. I'm Petra and I'm your client enrollment strategist. And today we have our very, very special guest who is Kelly James, and he is a sales coach and speaker. But guess what? Not just any sales coach and speaker. He's a sales coach specifically for introverts. So if you're an introvert right now and you're watching, you're in the right place at the right time. Hi, Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing brilliant. I'm so excited to be speaking to you today about networking for introverts because, as you know, we've had many conversations online. And you know that I am an introvert, okay? I don't really advertise it anywhere. People really, they kind of think, oh my God, Petra, how are you an introvert? But right. I am, okay? And I really wanted to have you on here because you are the expert in all things introversion and sales. So let me just give you a quick intro, okay, as to who Kelly is. Okay, so Kelly is a TEDx speaker and sales coach, and he helps introverted coaches to completely sell out their one-to-one coaching services by teaching them that they're actually able to quit their jobs, just like how he did, and build a profitable coaching business using free traffic strategies, okay? And he also helps you to also have effective strategy calls, free calls, so that you can sell your services on the phone. Now, along with Kelly being a TEDx speaker, he's actually built sales teams for Fortune 500 companies for over 10 years, and has helped build his wife's YouTube following for over 100,000 followers, and has been featured in Rolling Out magazine and the Houston Press as a sales expert and influencer. I'm so happy to have you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Good. So listen, introverts kind of get a bad rap. Well, I shouldn't say they, so say we get a bad rap because people think that, we're shy, we're quiet. But is that really true?
No, some of us are. And that's the thing, is like some introverts are very shy and some of us are very quiet. But the misconception is that we're all that way, and it's just not. It's not true at all.
And I know that sometimes people can even introverts can actually get that mixed up. They might think they're shy, they might think they're awkward. But what I've come to realize is that we just don't like high stimulated environments. So when it comes to networking in that type of environment, can you share with us how can introverts really connect with people in order to build their businesses?
There's a couple of ways. There are two that I'm going to talk about, like right up front. So the first one, obviously, networking as a lead generating option is obviously a good thing. Depending on what you do, you want to go out and meet people in person. And I know for introverts, that's like, I'd rather be doing something else, like being stabbed or something. Like that's how bad it is. And then second, it's just for me, networking has really been the way that I built my wife's business. It's the way that I built my business, not just it is a lead generation strategy, but more of indirect, meaning that you build relationships with people who have much bigger followings than you. And just by pure association, those people want to follow you, they want to buy from you and things like that. So I am like an avid fan. I'll tell you, one of my biggest secrets to free traffic is networking.
Yes.
Bottom line, it's like, all the strategies, and you got to do this, and you post 100,000 times a day and all of that. I'm telling you, nothing has produced more traffic for my wife's business or for mine than just building relationships and networking.
Wow. And that's really, I love that you said free traffic, because we all love to have free traffic. Paid advertising can be expensive. And, if you're not earning the money that you want to right now, it's always best to start with networking. I myself started out with networking, and that's how I built my business too. So how do you find these networking events? What's the best types of events for business owners to go to?
I try to make this as simple as possible. I think we make it too complicated because we want this massive system. Like, okay, here are the 10 points of network. you know, and I tell people, you know, first of all, start with, you know, what you do, and then think about those, what I would consider vertical relationships. So for example, if you're somebody who does websites, you're a graphic designer. I mean, first of all, you can go to any networking event that you want, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So don't make it too complicated. Just really take some time to brainstorm. Some of the places you can find, meetup.com in the States is very popular.
Yeah,
I'm not
we have
sure.
that. We have that here too, Kelly.
Okay, awesome. Meetup.com is awesome because you can find everything from knitting class, you know, knitting meetups to, you know, anything that you can imagine. You can find meetup.com. But then I just do a lot of like Facebook. There's a lot of groups in Facebook that you can find. I've even found groups on Eventbrite. Eventbrite, they're free groups that meet up and they're actually free. Most people think of Eventbrite as a paid event, but you can actually find free networking events on there as well. So those are a couple of resources you can actually tap into.
So I know that walking into a room full of people can be very daunting. And the first place you might go to is think, oh my God, who and where do I even start? And then you probably might nip to the loo first or nip to the bar to get a drink first. Yes. So what kind of strategy, or is there a strategy in order to approach people at networking events?
You know, there's a lot. So I'm going to try to give you guys, you know, this is something that I had to really practice. I like have a whole system, but I'm going to try to give you guys some things you can apply.
We want the whole system. We want the whole system.
We'll be on here for a while, but one of the things I'll tell you, and let me just use the recent one that I went to, because this one was just out of the blue. A friend of mine invited me. I said, okay, you know what? I need to get out and build some new relationships. And I knew my strategy, so I said, let me just go do my thing. And normally I would plan way in advance. I'd look at who's coming. I'd look at, you know, I know who I wanted to meet if I could. This was like totally out of the blue. So
can I just touch on that a second? Because I think you've done, that's brilliant. How did you find out who's going? And how did you connect or follow these people?
Yeah, so some networking events will post the companies or the people that are going to be attending. So for example, if you go to meetup.com, all the people that are going to be attending they'll show. So you can actually you can click on their links, go follow them on LinkedIn, find out the organizations they work for, and kind of strategically look for them.
Yeah.
So when you have the conversation, you have insider information, and they're like, they don't be creepy. Like, don't be like, hey, Tim, I know all about your dog and your kids. And, you know, but you know, it gives you some insight so that you can be strategic. And that's the key word, the buzzword here is strategic. You want to go into these events strategic versus just the awkward standing there moment we talked about the other day on Facebook.
and I also love the way how you say strategic and not stalking.
Yes. Now your tactics may be a little stalker-ish, but it's strategic in how you come in. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's getting a bit of background information on the people that you are potentially going to meet, and it's also about setting your intention about, you know, something. This is the person that I'm going to meet, and it's not really about quantity. You know, going around the room, giving out all your business cards. It's about knowing, 2 or 3 people that you definitely want to meet. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, if you're not equipped with that information, what I do is I go in and, first of all, introverts, believe it or not, we make up about 50% of the world. There's a lot of statistics, you know, depending on what you believe. Statistics are, a lot of them are crap, but but there's a lot of us out there. Yeah. So knowing that fact, that means that you can pretty much work the perimeter where you're going to want to hang out anyway and meet some very interesting people. So I tell people, don't be afraid to work the perimeter and hang out on those outsides, because there's a lot of introverts that are just as scared as you are that would love to have a conversation. So I don't have to get all in the middle and mingle with everybody. So I usually tell people, have a goal. going in, say, hey, I want to meet 3 new contacts, 3 to 5 new contacts. You don't have to meet everybody in the room.
I love that you said just, work the perimeter of the room, because I was having a coaching call with one of my clients last week, and she told me she went to this event and it was awful. She was overwhelmed. And I said, well, what do you mean? What did you do? Yeah. And then she said that she was joining people. She was joining these groups of 6 to 8 people in the middle, of the room. And I said, no.
That's an introvert nightmare. No.
I said, you can't do that as an introvert. She's like, oh my God, Petra, you're right. I'm like, you can't do it. Yeah. So I love that you said that, because you don't have to change who you are and become a crazy extrovert. I'm not saying extroverts are crazy, but no. An extrovert in order to network and build relationships.
Right. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, so working that perimeter, and this is a secret that I don't think most people really understand about networking. Mm-hmm. There are professional networkers who are extroverts. Mm-hmm. And my tip for people is you don't have to worry about finding them. They're going to find you. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So if people are worried about volume and numbers, trust me when I tell you, I literally did not move from about, I stood in like one spot the entire time. Okay. But I had at least 10 conversations because I knew my perimeter people were going to be standing where I was, not in the midst. But then also the professional networkers, they're going to find you. They found we had great conversations.
So we just have to be the shining star in the middle of the room, and they'll come and flock to us. Yes.
Now, and to that, you do want to be a shining star. I've worn T-shirts that had things about my business before. Mm-hmm. I speak loudly when I'm talking about my business, because people, they eavesdrop, and while you're talking, people will come up and try to join the conversation. So you want to make sure that you have that presence too.
So how about initiating a conversation? How would an introvert do that then? How do we even start with that?
I just thought about that. I'm going to include, I think we should give that as I don't know if you do a freebie for this, but I think we should give that away, because I do have a script for that.
You have a script for that?
Yes, I do.
We can definitely, I'll put the link below, definitely.
Yes. So that is, the main thing I want to tell you is that you want to be in control of the conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because the moment that you lose control of the conversation, you're going to be in that awkward moment answering a bunch of questions, and you're going to hate it.
Yes.
So, right? So Petra would agree in that moment.
Absolutely.
So the moment someone walks up to you, or you walk up to them and you shake their hand, the first thing I say is, hi, you normally see their name, so you don't have to ask their name. So you're like, hi, Jim. So what do you do? And immediately people love talking about themselves. That's been my go-to question for years. It always works. And they begin talking about, what they do. But as soon as they are about to finish up, I'm going to follow up with more questions.
That's right.
And I'm like, and I'm real, because you want to be more interested than interesting, right?
I love that.
So, you really, and before they know it, they've been talking for minutes, because you're like, oh, really? So what made you get into that? And they're like, oh, well, I love doing this and that. How long have you been doing it? Oh, I've been doing it for 10 years. I love it. And and they just go on, and you're learning all this information. You're paying attention.
That's right.
To the connection, right?
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask you, when you give them an opportunity, what it is that you do. But the key question I always ask, and people love this, is I say, after I've asked them about the background, I say, so if I wanted to refer people to you, how would I do that?
Oh, right? That's a good one.
Right. So they're like, oh yeah, well, here's my card. And now there are 2 things that happen here. Either they're going to ask you to what you do after you ask them for the information, or they're just going to be perfectly okay with you just taking their card and moving on.
Yeah.
Now, if they don't ask you what you do, I tell people, listen, just move on. I have zero interest in working with that person anyway. But if they do ask you, then that'll be your opportunity, and they will just remember you, because they're going to remember this was the person that actually listened. They were interested in what I did. They were so excited about what I did. They wanted to refer it to other people. So it really makes an impact. And you as an introvert, guess what? You're not the one talking. Although you're there standing there, you're just listening, because you're asking your 4 or 5 questions. That's and they're like, blah, 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 blah. So
I love that. And the thing is, it's so good. And that's why networking is perfect for introverts, because as you said, we don't have to do all the talking, they do.
Yes.
And people just love talking about themselves. So they're just going to be doing that. And as introverts as well, we love that one-on-one connection. So we like to really feel that person's energy, connect with them on a much more deeper level. And because of that, as you said, we're not going to be remembered. We're not going to be forgotten.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So then when we then send a follow-up email, they're going to say, oh, wow, yeah, I remember Kelly. You know, he was listening to me about, for such and such. And you'll be able to make those lasting relationships that way.
Absolutely.
I know that you've actually found some speaking engagements just through networking. Can you tell me how that came about?
So, the thing about it is, it just, when I go to these events, this last event, as a matter of fact, they are so excited to reciprocate after this moment. I can't explain it. I mean, there's books about it. If you're a reader, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yeah. There's so many, but they're so excited after you've listened to them. I mean, it's really magical to me. I'm like, how does this stuff work? Even I've been doing this like 20 years in sales and networking or whatever. It still blows my mind that it works so well. Yeah. But when I tell them what I do, instantly in this last event, I had 2 people who wanted me to work with them as clients, right? And then I had 2 confirmed speaking engagements that literally were paid events, right? And I never moved more than maybe 2 or 3 feet. People are like, how is that possible? I said, guys, it's not. I mean, it's being intentional and understanding, like you said, people want to talk about themselves. They don't really want to know about you. I'm sorry to say. They don't.
It's not about you at all. It's true.
It's not about you. And once you accept that, then you can influence people by being a great listener and caring about them, and they will naturally, just the human nature, want to reciprocate. The good people will.
Yes.
So.
And I love what you just said, because you just explained exactly what sales is.
Yes.
Sales isn't about you. It's all about them and helping them to get them where they want to be in their life, their health, or their business. So I think that's a beautiful way of just explaining exactly what sales is. And it is just that. It's about connecting, it's about, having that relationship with people. And it's about helping them to see themselves better. Because I always say to my clients, anytime that anyone has a interaction with you, that person must feel better about themselves. Okay, that's how you should really make them feel better about themselves when they've had a conversation with you. And that's why networking is absolutely perfect for us, because we're good at doing that naturally. So, we're back. There? Yeah, we're back.
Oh, we're back. Okay.
We're back. So I know that you've got a freebie for us. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I do have a freebie, and I think we're going to add a second freebie, because I want you guys to have the networking script as well. But my normal freebie that I do is basically consult calls. Most people who do coaching, graphic design, have some type of consultation. And what I noticed is when I was talking to people about consultation, they're like, oh, I mean, I have to do them, but I'm not really, I convert maybe like 1 or 2 out of every 10. And I'm like, well, that's not right. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe after I've done this for a while, I'm going to start seeing those numbers, and it never really changed from 50, 60, 70%. And probably because of my sales background. But, so anyway, long story short, it sounds like I began helping people with their consultations and really understanding, just because somebody signs up for your consultation does not mean that they're going to buy from you. Right. So the freebie is just some really core tips on how you can take a free person that has come into your world and convert them to someone who's going to pay you, who's actually going to give you the credit card, which is what we
want, isn't it?
But I found it to be a big, a problem. Sometimes a problem that people don't realize, like, hey, I'm making pretty good money, but I'm like, well, but if you're only converting 2 out of 10 people, what if you were converting 4 out of 10?
Exactly. Yeah,
what would that do for your business? So that's what it is.
That is brilliant. So I mean, look at that today. We've come on talk about networking, and yes, you can book consultation at networking events. Yes. And then Kelly's also going to give you a script.
Yes.
Okay, of how to have your consultations. So you're going to go find these events on Meetup, Eventbrite in your local area, and then you're going to work the perimeter of the room, book those consultations, and you're going to have the scripts. What more could you actually want?
Absolutely.
So, Kelly, I have one more question for you.
Sure.
Are you ready to roll?
Am I ready to roll? Yes.
Good. So this is where I'm going to ask you some quick questions. Give me some quick answers. And then we're going to start with, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book. Oh, I said I would be prepared for this, didn't I? My favorite book. I would have to say, out of all the books that I've read, it would have to be Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins.
Cool. What is the one thing in your business that you can't do without?
My MacBook.
What is your number one mindset tool?
Mindset tool. Could you clarify?
Okay, so for me, I use pray. So I pray. Okay, yes. That helps me to get in the right frame of mind.
Yes.
So that's my tool, is prayer. What would you say yours was?
Oh man, how can you beat God? Okay, I pray. I do pray.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that makes me focus is actually white noise.
White noise.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to try that.
Yes, it actually helps to quiet the busyness in my mind. So
can you just Google white noise?
Yeah, Google white noise. There's actually 10-hour videos on YouTube that just play white noise as you work, and it allows you to focus.
Well, there you go. Brilliant. So, what would you say is one of your most something that you really struggle with in your business? What's the one of the most things you struggle with?
I struggle with this. Ooh, hold on, my screen split. Are you still there with me?
I am, yeah.
I struggle with deciding in other words, I struggle with, I don't know if that's necessarily a struggle though. Mm-hmm. Hope you're going to have some editing.
No, we don't edit. No, we don't edit.
Let me just say this. It is absolutely non-negotiable for me to have a business that is consistent with my values. So my struggle is sometimes that makes things very difficult because the things that generate money fairly easily are not necessarily always consistent with my long-term goals and values.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the best way to answer that.
Okay. I thank you. And what would you say is a mantra that you live by?
A mantra that I live by. This year it's been non-negotiable. meaning
Oh,
that, there are certain things that are absolutely non-negotiable for me to do or to achieve.
okay. And the last question is, what is it that you believe to be true that other people may disagree with?
I believe that the best thing that people who are introverted can do is accept that they're an introvert and
Hmm.
set it aside.
Love
like
that.
just set it down, stop focusing on it so much,
Hmm.
and focus on you, who you are as a human being and a person. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kelly. This has been such a wonderful interview. What we're going to do is we're going to put the two links. Yep, he's given us two links, two freebies that we're going to put at the bottom of this video. And what I want you to do is definitely subscribe. And I also want you to find, find Kelly. Where can we find you online?
Actually, if they sign up for the freebie, I'm going to send them some content. I don't want them searching around the internet. They can find me at kellyjamespro.com, but if they
Yep.
get the freebie, we'll be connected. So.
Brilliant. Okay. So thank you very much. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.